After Joe Shane and Brian Daboll's very successful year in their first year as GM and head coach, now they have to go back to the drawing board, back to the war room, and try to get some more free agents in here, try to get some more draft picks for the next season. In this video, we're going to be going over all the New York Giants free agents and deciding which ones we keep and which one we let go. And to be honest with you, to be completely truthful with you guys, I don't think many of you are going to like this. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back in to another video. And like I said, I don't think a lot of you guys are going to like this, but if you do like the content of this video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel for content just like this. And let's get started. So the Giants have 21 free agents set to hit the market of their own. That is not including any free agents they decide to bring in here. And the Giants have about roughly $58 million to work with. Now, there are a bunch of contracts that they're going to have to restructure or even completely terminate to try to clear up some more cap space. And the most obvious ones, just to be completely vague, is Leonard Williams, that is set to have a $32 million cap hit this season, and Kenny Golladay, who I believe is set to have like a 20-something million dollar cap hit this season. So obviously that $58 million is going to rise up, but we're going to keep it at 58 just so the sake of the video and just to look at what it would be like to try to get as much free agents or keep as much free agents of our own with just the $58 million, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We'll just be assuming at that point. So there are about half of the free agents I'm going to go in a rapid fire sort of way with, because I mean, there's not really much explaining into if I want to keep them or not. We're going to get into the more important players, the more notable players, and focus more on them. So let's kick it off here. Quick disclaimer, this doesn't mean that I want them to completely play the whole entire season in 2023, but it's more so just keeping these guys around for training camp, and obviously if things work out in the regular season, then keep them. But these are just guys that I would keep on prove-it deals, or want to keep around for a little longer and see if we can get some more competition and guys that may be a better upgrade. Starting off, Nick Williams, yes. Casey Creeder, I mean, sure. Tony Jefferson, old but yes. Jamie Gillen, the Scottish Hammer, yes. Justin Ellis, no, after what we saw with how he got manhandled in the divisional playoffs, I say a resounding no. Marcus Johnson, denied. Need I say more? O'Shane Ximenez, no. I'll just move on from O'Shane. John Feliciano, although he played decently, I will like to move on from Feliciano. That is a no for me, dog. Nick Gates, I'll keep him around. Prove it deal. We need offensive line depth. He does have a lot of respect in the locker room. I got to keep Nick Gates around to try to keep that culture. And on top of that, he's not a bad player. So Nick Gates, yes. Jalen Smith, this is not what I would do, but what I think the Giants would do. They start this guy every game. They love Jalen Smith. So I'm going to say yes, and I think they want to keep Jalen Smith. I'm not a big Jalen Smith guy, but they want to keep him around. I know they do, so yes. Landon Collins, it's clear that they don't really have a place for Landon Collins, or they don't really have a love for Landon Collins or a commitment to him. He didn't play any of the divisional playoffs, so that shows that they really don't have faith in the guy. I'm going to say they move on from him. Gerard Davis, unfortunately, that's another yes. I don't like our linebacking core at all, but we got to start somewhere, and Jalen Smith and Gerard Davis is what they're going to start with. And last but not least, Jahad Ward. Yes, I'll keep Jahad Ward as well. Another veteran guy that probably going to be on a cheap deal and as his career kind of winds down. Now, these are the bigger free agents that I want to focus on, and we'll get more in depth with these guys. The first one I want to bring up is Sterling Shepard. Now, Sterling Shepard, I want to keep around, not to be like a straight up player. I really want him around to be the presence. Like I've talked about time and time again on Twitter, on YouTube, in live streams, that I think the culture of this team is extremely underrated and extremely undervalued. About trying to build a culture and trying to create a winning team, trying to create a dynasty. Every team wants to create a dynasty, and you gotta start with building a culture. Sterling Shepard is a huge part of that team, just like Daniel Jones is, just like Dexter Lawrence is, just like Saquon Barkley is, Xavier McKinney. Sterling Shepard's one of those guys. He is the rah-rah guy on the sideline while he was hurt, and he was also a big contributor, as a leader when he was playing as well. So he's a guy I gotta keep around, not because I really need him at wide receiver because he's not healthy anyway, but he's a guy that I gotta keep around the locker room. Now, Darius Slayton is another one that we're gonna go down the wide receivers. Darius Slayton is another one. I'm gonna keep him around. Now, these are just offers I'm gonna give. So I'm gonna give Darius Slayton a 1-year, $8 million offer. That's right around the kind of value he's worth. If you look at the value sheet on like NFL contracts on over the cap and stuff like that, if you kind of compare with other players, I kind of value him around $8 million. And if he takes it, he takes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. A lot of these guys may just want to seek other opportunities elsewhere, being that the Giants are kind of tight still with cap space. And Darius Slayton may find a way to find a multi-year contract elsewhere. A lot of these guys I'm just giving 1 to 2 year contracts to. Now, Richie James, he's a guy that is on the borderline for me, but if I do have to offer him a contract, I'm not going to give him anything less than like $3 million. The wide receiver market is getting higher and higher and higher, and kind of the base level for wide receivers gets higher as well. And $4.5 million kind of seems like a fair deal for Richie James. 1 year, $4.5 million. Now, he's a guy that I'm going to throw an offer to. He may accept it, but I'm not really excited about this offer because I'm really waiting to see what we have with Wan'Dale Robinson. If Wan'Dale Robinson is healthy, then there's pretty much no need for Richie James, in my opinion. Next, we have Fabian Moreau. Now, he had a very, very surprising season for the Giants, coming in late in the season, and he was cut by the Texans. We brought him on. He wound up playing great. PFF was talking about him being one of the top 10 lockdown corners in the league for a period of time. He played great for us. I thought that he deserves another contract. Now, I do still want the Giants to attack cornerback in the draft, early in the draft, but this doesn't take away from the Giants trying to keep Fabian Moreau here. He's never had a big contract in his career, so I would offer him a 1-year, $4 million deal. He may find a better deal elsewhere, but that's what I'll offer him, and let's just say he takes it and we keep him on here for 1 year, $4 million. Next, we have Matt Breida. Breida is a guy that signed a bigger contract, I believe, with the Dolphins. It never really worked out because he was always hurt. He wound up signing with the Bills. He got like $1 million there, and he came to us with like I think $1.1 million contract. Now, I don't really think, although Matt Breida was good, the amount of production he had because he was just not utilized as much $1.1 million is right where he's worth. He shouldn't want any more than that, and I really like Matt Breida on those 21 personnel sort of looks where we're going, dual back sets. He's a guy that is a legitimate threat as a number 2 running back. Usually when you bring in your second running back in the game, next to Saquon Barkley, for example, nobody's really going to care about the second running back on the field, but Matt Breida's speed is something that is elite in the NFL. He's a burner and bounces outside very quickly. He's a guy that can be a threat, and he's shown that with us. It's just my thing is how often is this guy going to be used? So I would offer him a 1 year, $1.5 million contract. Again, if he takes it, he takes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But that's what I'm offering him. Again, 1 to 2 year contract, 1 to 2 year deals are very, very much like necessary if we want to try to build up cap space and create a team through the draft. Next, we're going to get into the nitty gritty. These are the 3 top free agents that are free agents this year that the Giants are going to have to negotiate with. These are the top 3 biggest contracts that they're going to have to negotiate in-house. And let's start with the first one, Julian Love. Now, according to SpotRack.com, Julian Love is estimated to be worth about $7.9 million per year, and that's exactly where I have him at $8 million per year. So, listen, if this guy wasn't such a great tackler and he didn't lead our team in interception, maybe I wouldn't offer him. I'd probably let him walk just due to the fact that I'm trying to build a team through the draft and trying to spend as least amount of money as I can in free agency. But Julian Love was a great part of this defense. Another surprising guy on defense who was honestly our best tackler on the team. I would have never thought that Julian Love would have been the best tackler on the team or one of the bigger, solo players on the team. Like, he doesn't rely on other players to help him out. He's always there. He led the team in tackles. He is great in open field tackling. Again, I have to say, he had 2 interceptions in the season. So, and that leads the Giants. We barely had anything as far as interceptions go. So I'm going to offer him a 2-year, $16 million deal. Maybe a little high. That's up to you guys. I just have him estimated at $8 million. So obviously 8 times 2, if I want to keep him around for 2 years, 8 times 2 is 16. So that's what I would offer him. All right, this is going to get, I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's going to get, crazy, obviously. So, Saquon Barkley, running back Saquon Barkley, there is a lot of opinions when it comes to these next 2 free agent players. And Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones are both players I want to keep around, okay? So, when it comes to Saquon, he already declined a $12 million contract, but also said that he did not want to break the running back market, which is at $16 million for Christian McCaffrey. He's at the top tier of running back contracts, and everybody else is making around 12 to 13. So he denied a $12 million contract, but obviously the contract details were never released. So I don't really think the problem is the per year average that he was making. It may be the guaranteed money. Maybe the Giants lowballed him with guaranteed money because he has not been staying healthy, and he even had an injury or two this season. I mean, he played all the games, but he was he had an ankle injury in Green Bay. I believe he had another neck injury at some point, maybe against Detroit or something like that. There was a point in time where he completely slowed down. He didn't look the same in a 3-game stint. So maybe the Giants are kind of wary about the guaranteed money, and maybe that may be the problem. Hopefully he takes a 12-year, $12 million deal, but I'm gonna give him 13.25. That's my max offer. That's not my starting offer. Obviously, negotiations will happen. We started at 12. Let's see where we can go from there. But my max offer would have to be $13.25 million per year. Obviously, how that's front-loaded and back-loaded is, I'm not going to go into that. If I go into that with every freaking contract, we'll be here forever. So, due to time, we're just going to do the average amount, and that's the highest I would go, $13.25 million over 3 years. So that's going to total 3 years, $39.75 million for Saquon Barkley. Don't ask me about guaranteed money. Don't ask me about any of that stuff. We're just trying to save time here. That's just, we're going to keep it simple. And whether or not you guys think Saquon Barkley is worth it, I think he is. It's just, he is worth it. The problem is, do you really want to pay that much for a running back? Now, we look at Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is reported to not accept anything less than $30 million, and I predicted this to exactly happen because of that non-exclusive tag being at around $32 million. Daniel Jones and his camp would be absolutely stupid to take anything less than $30 million on a yearly basis. So I assume that $30 million was the standard, was the starting point. So it all depends on where you want to go from there, how many years you want to keep him around, how much guaranteed money is involved, and how you're going to allocate each year and how much he'll make in each particular year, whether you backload it or front load it. We're not going to get into all those details, guys, but I would offer Daniel Jones 3 years, $31 million on average. So it would be 3 years, $93 million. That sounds like a huge number, right? But the quarterback market is growing and growing and growing. If you guys check out this over the cap quarterback yearly average, I mean, it goes, the lowest of the high tier quarterbacks is Tom Brady at $25 million, and then it drops all the way down to 15. So if you look at that market, it has to be around $30 million for Daniel Jones. That's exactly what his camp is going to want to have. I think Daniel Jones earned another contract here. I know a lot of people saying he didn't earn anything. That's just my opinion. I don't care what you say. The reason why I have it at a 3-year contract is so I can kind of backload the contract and try to get a void year in that 3rd year. Now, I don't know if you'll take that, but listen, we're playing hypotheticals here. I would try to backload that contract as much as I can to try to make sure Daniel Jones is the guy, and maybe in 2023, he'll only be owed like $18 million, $20 million, and we can go on from there. Obviously, he'll make a lot more in that 3rd season if we decide to keep him. But I left that at $31 million just to be safe. And if you add up all the free agents that I decided to keep, all the notable ones, right? Not the ones that I went through in that that rapid fire keep or let go. It's total $70 million. So obviously there has to be some losses. The Giants can't keep everybody, guys. this is the part that you guys are not going to like. The Giants cannot keep everybody. You may fall in love with one of these underrated players, but the Giants cannot keep everybody. So if there are guys that I just have to let go, have to release, it's obviously going to have to be Sterling Shepard, depending on how much you want. Listen, I can't go anything over like $2 to $3 million for Sterling Shepard. If he doesn't like that, I'm sorry, bro. But Darius Slayton is a guy that I'll be willing to let go of, even though I like him. That $8 million is something that we can keep around. Richie James on the $4.5 million deal. I'm already a little iffy on that. We have Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot. I could find another slot somewhere else for much cheaper on, a rookie deal or anything like that, or get him for, half the price. And then Fabian Moreau, I would probably let him go because I want to target cornerback anyway in the draft. So those are guys that I would think are expendable. Also, Julian Love too, but I think Julian Love is a guy that we got to keep around. He's on a relatively team-friendly deal, $8 million over the span of, 2 seasons, so making $16 million over the span of 2 seasons. So that being said, guys, so deducting the players that I mentioned, it would add up to $53 million. So that's still a lot. So obviously they have to do something with Leo's contract. They still got to do something with Kenny Galladay's contract and maybe other players as well. So we'll see what happens with that. That's not including any of the free agents that we need to bring in here, guys. We need some new blood. We need some fresh legs in here for the Giants. There are a bunch of guys hitting the market that the Giants may want to be interested in. So we may see even more guys that we don't keep around to try to clear up some cap space and try to bring up a bigger name free agent here. Not spend all the money, but we are definitely tight if we do decide to keep Daniel Jones. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Be sure to leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you guys are new for content just like this. I'm Kid Blue, and I'll see you guys in the next video.